Do we believe in moral victories? Do you believe in moral victories? I do not believe in moral victories. I believe they played well. I believe the picture I have up is of Jermaine Johnson being held by number 79 of the Chiefs, whose name escapes me right now. Number 79 of the Chiefs. That's what I feel on that play. That you can see him being held, his jersey being held. That is called holding, in my opinion. Oh, thank you, Jason, for coming on today. Thank you so much. We were just talking, Jason and I. And since it's fresh in my mind, let's give Jason the time he deserves. Let's give him his props he deserves. He is a Padre fan unlike any other. So he sends me stuff all the time. Basically, that Juan Soto, they're going to extend him. They feel they have enough players in the farm system that they can, balance the high contracts, the big contracts with the young guys coming up who they were able to keep under team control for years. He also sent me that Juan Soto has played all 162 games for the first time in his career. He just worked his 132nd walk. Jack Clark used to walk a shitload. And then he was doing drag racing. Remember that. And Jack Clark struck out a lot, but he had a beautiful swing. That's what I remember about Jack Clark. And he tied Jack Clark's single-season franchise record. He's on his way to becoming the first player to lead the majors in walks in 3 straight seasons since Barry Bonds. Thank you, AJ Casaval, on X, formerly known as Twitter. I like saying that. X, formerly known as Twitter. He sends me that, and he said, did you see the Khalil Mack line? I said, did I see the Khalil Mack line? Khalil Mack yesterday had 6 sacks. Not 1, 6 sacks. And I was like, wait a minute, did I see that incorrectly? And I mean, who does that in a game? That's like video game kind of game. Yeah, 6 sacks, most sacks by one player versus X team in NFL history. He became just the 6th player to record 6 sacks in a game since sacks became official in 82. He recorded almost as many pressures in week 410 as he did during the first 3. He had 11 pressures in the first 3 weeks. He had 10 against the Raiders. He was double-teamed on just 2 pass rushes. Let me see a question. How come you only double-team him twice? Once he gets 2 sacks, maybe. But once he gets to 3, I feel like, maybe we got to change this up. That's what I love about Josh McDaniels. A fantastic coach. A phenomenal coach. Belichick, they're saying he's on the hot seat. Because, and Mac Jones is his quarterback. And again, he said, let the team down. I love when they say after the fact, my bad. Now, I was taking Daniel. Who do you get this week when you play the Niners, the Cowboys? Do you get the team that played 3 out of the 4 weeks? Or do you get the team that gave up 222 yards rushing to the Cardinals? What team do you get this week? That's what I wanted to ask him. Because I don't know. But yeah, 6 sacks. I mean, don't you think you would do something about it? Only active player with 6+ sacks. This is Khalil Mack in a game. First player with 6+ sacks in a game since 2017. Only active player with multiple 5-sack games. And the second player over the last 40 seasons with multiple 5-sack games. So what I love about Jason is I love ripping Brandon Staley because I think he's a moron. But that's what you have someone who is a true fan. And I said, I also said about, where's Bosa? They show Bosa on the sideline. I go, he's hurt all the time. He seems like he's hurt pretty much all the time. Something's always bothering him. And yeah, I'm just perplexed by that. He said he's hurt a lot. He said that Derwin James is hurt a lot. Austin Eckler's hurt a lot. Mike Williams out for the season. And I said, why did he go for it? I think they were on 35, 4th and 1. They don't get it. They're up 24-17. He got a rookie quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, give him the ball back, and they got an interception by Antonio Samuels Jr., right? Is that got that? And then he slid it. Michigan was like, he had 90 yards. Why not run it back? I said, babe, I don't know why he didn't run it back. He slid down. They had the clock. Yeah, why not score, get a touchdown, and then they got 2 touchdowns they have to go. I don't know. But, maybe he thought he'd fumble it or something. I was okay with it. He stayed in bounds, but the clock stops anyway. But I was like, all right. So Jason says to me, in every game that Brandon Staley has gone for it on 4th down and come up short, they've won all the games except for 1. And he sent me a list. There's actually 10 games and 1 he might have lost. So basically, when he goes for it on 4th down, they don't get it. They usually win the game, which is kind of crazy to me. And maybe there's a method to his madness where the players get fired up. I agree with Jason. It seems dumb to me, too. Yeah, Asante Samuel. Thank you. I knew I said it wrong. Asante Samuel Jr. Thank you, Jason. That's why you're here. Your greatness is appreciated. And, yeah, he said the only one they lost of those was a doozy, the playoff deciding game. You remember? Yeah, that game when I went forever against the Raiders. Yeah, so I found 9 games. I was like, holy shit. That's impressive. Yeah. So I was going off on all the stuff today on the Jets, and then Jason always comes with something interesting, and I was like, all right, let's go with it. And then Jason comes on IG Live, and I'm like, let's really go with it. But back to the Jets. Have the picture, number 79, whose name escapes me, for the Chiefs, and Chiefs left Donovan Smith. I said Devon. Yeah, Donovan Smith. And Bumble sent me a picture, which, I love Bumbles. Bumbles always gives me great shit. Always, keeping it real. That's my man. This is the picture he just sent me. They exchange jerseys during games. Yeah, that's funny. Because that to me is like that one, and that was a ticky tack with Sauce Gardner going against, and I can't remember who was he going against, of the Chiefs. I mean, they were hand fighting. And I feel like if the offensive players can hand fight the defensive players, and that would have been the third interception. And then they showed the probability of, Zach Wilson overthrew Garrett Wilson in the end zone, and then he made a great play, Zach Wilson. He got out of getting sacked, and he threw a ball to, was it Conklin, which wasn't a great throw, and they said it was a 65%. If Conklin made that catch where he's like basically on his back trying to catch a ball, more power to him. But I didn't think that was a catch. I thought the one to Garrett Wilson, they said, well, if that was Aaron Rodgers, it's a touchdown. He just sat on the sidelines going, ooh, so close, but not close. Hey, he came to play. He played the best game, they said, since his first year. Okay, maybe. I don't remember. All I've seen is shit on shit on shit. And I thought he played a pretty good game, pretty damn good game, got himself out of sacks, not one, didn't throw any bad balls. But Garrett Wilson, 9 catches for 60 yards, 14 targets. I felt like they weren't opening it up. I thought they had drives where they could have, done something, change the momentum. I mean, 17-0, we all thought the game was over. We thought it was done. End of story. And then after that, man, Mahomes looked pretty mediocre. He didn't get anything going with Kelsey. A lot of throws, guys were going one way, and he was throwing to another part of the field like they weren't They weren't on the same page. He had 2 interceptions. Mosley dropped one. That one that they called the pass interference. That would have been 4 goddamn interceptions. They held them to 6 points after the 17. They lost 23-20. They got to win in Denver this week. They have to win. But I don't know how a ref doesn't see holding on that play. I don't know how Donovan Smith on Jermaine Johnson, and there was a lot. And then they said that the safety they got when on the hold, who was that? That was Huff. Bryce Huff was being held as he was going into the end zone, but they said that the twist started in the end zone. It looked like it was whatever it was. I mean, you saw, and that was a lot. Bryce Huff, I saw a lot of times being, like around the net. And I think there's holding on every goddamn play. But when it's egregious like that, and then there's a guy, Michael Nania, who does a Jets thing. And I don't know if this was a joke or not. I thought maybe it was a joke, and I was like, okay, maybe he's just joking around and shit. But, I don't know. He said, the ref who made the holding call on Sauce is Frank Steratore, cousin of Gene Steratore. There is reason to believe he is biased to the whole Kelsey Chiefs story going on. Not only is Gene from Pennsylvania, same as Taylor Swift, but he went to Kent State not far from Cleveland, where Kelsey is from. This family has clear inherent bias to this story and couldn't bear to see it crumble. Yeah, that sounds like a joke to me, but I thought it was kind of funny. And the whole Taylor Swift thing, it's like she was a god, like a goddess. Yeah. Yeah, and Josh, hey. Yeah, hey. I was tired of it. Thank God they didn't show Taylor Swift like 8,000 times. And I didn't know Blake Lively's sister was in Karate Kid 3. She was the main, yes, and the Good Witch, and she was some other stuff. But I was like, that's Blake Lively's sister. Because Lanker subbed in California when he used to live out there, and he subbed, and when Blake Lively was in high school, I remember him telling me that. Blake Lively. Yeah, I was like, well, all right. Yeah, hey, we all picked it. Bumble said 38-10. I said 38-3, and Josh said 41-0. So it looked like we were on that pace. I thought they were going to put out 60, but the D came to play. 22 straight games the Jet defense has not allowed